Hello, hi-fi beauties. Let's dive right into it. Nature and forest bathing. How to find a place in nature, whether it's your backyard, looking out the window, in your home, in your office workspace, or even outside. You simply just need to find a nature being. This could be a tree, a plant, looking at the clouds, the sky. I wouldn't say directly look at the sun, but if you're underneath a tree, try looking at the dapple light between the leaves. Now, once you find your place, sit down and relax. Give yourself permission to just let go and enjoy yourself. I invite you to close your eyes or maybe just gaze if you don't feel comfortable with closing your eyes and connect to your senses. Can you feel your heartbeat? What do you hear? Are there nature sounds? Is there something that you can feel on your skin? When you open your mouth, is there something that you can taste? Take about 20 minutes and just relax and get centered in your space. Once you've done so, take your hands and cover your heart. You don't have to do this if you're like near a nature being and you're specifically in a workplace. If that's the case, I invite you to still cover your hands over your heart and just sit for a few minutes and feel your heartbeat. Maybe take notice that your heartbeat is part of what's going on in your environment, and that natural being could be possibly noticing you. And when you feel comfortable to explore, open your eyes and take a look. And once you get comfortable, take a closer look and see what you notice. Again, go through your senses. Does it smell like anything? What does the nature being look like? Is it moving? Does it make sound? Does it have a taste? Could you taste it? Are there certain places on it that are softer than others? Spend time really noticing. If you have a notebook or anything like that, feel free to, mark anything down or what you think or feel. You can do this for anywhere between an hour to 3 hours. If you're going to do it for 3 hours, I suggest that about every 20 minutes, reclose your eyes, or maybe something has caught your attention that you want to go, check out. But as you're walking, I just invite you to walk a little bit slower. See what else you're noticing on the way. See maybe if other nature beings are noticing you. Now, when you're finished with this process, I invite you to take a drink or something to eat, or perhaps both, something sweet or savory, or both, a healing tea, something cool to drink, depending on the weather. Speaking of weather, if you are outside and you're going to go nature and forest bathe, be sure to dress comfortably and just have something to be aware of your time and let somebody know where you're going if you're going on your own. This is nature and forest bathing. When you do this with a guide, they have invitations as they've built relationships with the more than human world, and that's what we call it, nature, the more than human world. We built relationships, so we're pretty much easy to adapt in the natural setting. And we spent a long time with identifying with plants and learning their medicines and things. Herbology is part of the Nature and Forest Therapy Guide program. So I hope you enjoy this. Let's move on to facial masks and facial oils. Yeah. Facial massage is the secret every skin pro relies on for good reason. Over 40 muscles make up the scaffolding of the face, and just like the muscles in the body, the more you move them, the more lifted, tightened, and toned they become, says the founder of Face Gym. And any time you can fit a facial exercise into your day is great. She says she tends to do it in the morning or even in the evening as a part of her skincare routine, and that way she gets the added benefits of really working the oils and her products into her skin. Bring your facial in-house and steal one of these massage techniques that promise to reduce sinus pressure, puffiness, and fluid retention, while promoting lymphatic drainage and allowing your skincare to penetrate deeper. After all, who knows your skin better than you? I've attached a couple techniques, and then I've also put the video in the description below. Enjoy! A very common face mask that's used is 2 tablespoons of jojoba oil, sweet almond, grapeseed oil are also good options, 1 tablespoon of rosehip seed oil, primrose or carrot seed oil, 4 drops of lavender, 4 drops of frankincense, 4 drops of geranium or clary sage, sandalwood, or rose. You can mix and match to what's good for your skin type. Up next, I'm going to share how I mix mine.
So let's make some facial oil. I'm not going to do all the recipes, but I'm going to put the recipes in the description as well as make a little recipe afterwards. So first things first for the face, jojoba oil. And I'm going to fill my jar probably close to half jojoba oil because it's a main carrier in my face oil. Vitamin E. I usually put a fair helping, I'd say roughly 10 drops. And then I add lavender because lavender is amazing healing. And that is 15 drops. I also like to add lemon because lemon is really good for the skin. It brightens it. Rose because it's an astringent. It kind of got loose and it smells divine. Here you go, rose. And I like 15 drops of that too. Ooh, one more. And then I like to put a little bit of avocado. This is just for me personally. Everybody can make their own kind of oil. And then I put in the skin oils. There's the tamarind oil. This is backwards because I have it facing so I can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rose again, but this is like a rose infusion. It's rose hips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then the argan oil. This is really great to make your hair grow strong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I forgot my rosemary oil, but I'm going to be putting 15 drops of rosemary oil on there too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, I only put so much of the tamarind oil because it's like a dark green. So then you put your lid on, give it a good shake up. And you put, oh, it's so good. You put that to the side, and I'm going to be doing these afterwards too. They're cloth facial pads to wipe. These ones are dry, but I've used them a few times just to kind of show like they're pretty durable. And I put a lining on it so you have something to hang on to so it doesn't slip off. It's not very slippery though. I'm going to put the recipe for this also at the back, but I'm going to show you quickly how to make these cloth pads. They're quite simple. Actually, I guess I don't have to show you. You just have to cut out 2 pieces of cloth or a thicker piece of cloth. If you want to use a face cloth, you can do that. And then I took my sewing machine and I went around once to make sure that they were solid because this is 2 pieces together. And then I just did a loose stitch around. Just one for like the color too. It's good for holding on to. So I quickly give my face a wash. Oh, it smells so good. I use my own recipe again with this, which is oh my gosh, I just drew a blank on the soap. It's a lavender based soap. Oh my gosh, I know the soap. I just want to enjoy my face. I think I just one-tracked mine. I'll put the recipe in the description box as well as I'll do a little picture there afterwards. This is so wonderful. So we let that dry. There, I patted my face dry there. And then you take the oil, you take a couple drops in your hand. Make sure you quite get enough there. And I like to warm it up in my hand so it's nice and warm. And then now we're going to go downstairs because I'm going to show you the massage techniques. Here, I'll show you one quickly. Draining the lymphatic system in the face. So what you do is you go up and around, up over your eyebrows, across, and then down your neck. And you can do that 2 times. When you first wake up in the morning, just to drain your lymphatic system or get it flowing. Facial massages, they're great things. They help with wrinkles too, apparently. I've been learning lots with them this week, so I can't wait to share the rest of these with you.
So the first thing we want to do is get our hair out of our face. We get our facial oil and we warm it up, and then we just pat it on our face. I put extra on because I'm going to be doing a few facial techniques, but just gently pat your face, make sure it's everywhere. This gets circulation going. And then next, you whip it, but you don't slap your face. You just gently go up your face in an upward motion. You can do your chin. Make sure you get on your face. Up here, this will help with sagging eyes. This is great. There's another technique I'll show you with that after. I get it tight. This feels really good too. Okay, and then the knuckles. And just go on. And again, in upward motions. Try to get all your little nooks and crannies in your face. The more motion and tone that you get to your face, the more muscles will get relaxed, but firmer in tone. Around your mouth. You're tight, this is filmy. And this, all your blood flow, circulation going in your face. For the next set of facial massages, I've included the video on YouTube, and it's a step-by-step for tired and aging skin. And it has very great details in it, better details than I can give, and it shows you the points on your fingers and where to use. Hair oil. Now, hair oils are very similar to face oils, except for you can add the little extra benefits so that, for stronger hair. Things like clary sage, the argan oil. There are other things that you can look up, but I tend to stick with those two. If you have lighter hair like me, you might want to use chamomile in your hair oils and not so much the rosemary, because rosemary is known to darken your hair. So how you do it is you mix it just like we mix the face oil. You mix your oils. Make sure that you have 1/2 of the oil that is, oops, I don't have my hair down yet. Make sure that you have 1/2 of your oil at least as the substitute oil, which could be jojoba, coconut oil, olive oil, things like that. Even in your face mask, you can just use coconut oil and olive oil. It's really great for your skin and your hair.
But some people are allergic to those things. So my hair is kind of oily as it is because I was in the sauna. And I had done a treatment earlier because I was doing like hair masks and stuff that I hyped on these videos. So I'm looking forward to having a shower tonight. My hair is going to feel amazing tomorrow. So hair oil, same thing, you put it in your palm. And what I like to do is put intentions. When I rub my oils and stuff, and like with my face, I like saying like I'm healthy and I'm beautiful, or use some affirmations. And with my hair, I tend to do more like wishes. And since the new moon's coming up, and I'm warming it up in my hands, and since the new moon is coming up, I like to put the intentions through my hair, kind of like a feather. So I like to get my scalp first and try to massage it as much as I can into my scalp. So there's the nice, like, scalp massage is wonderful. I guess I could talk about the systems calendar right here while we're doing this. And it's, for me, the system calendar is working out. It's just taking time out every week, usually about an hour, and writing down all the things that you need to do or like to do, and then putting it in slots of time throughout your week. So after you get your oil in, when you do that, you're organizing your time, and I find I'm getting more done. And my creative flow is just like going like crazy. So what I'm doing now with the oil is I'm just brushing it through, and you can leave it for a couple of hours in your hair overnight. You can add just a little bit in the mornings to the edges of your hair, to your tips. I like to do an extra little bit on the tip, because what I'm noticing is it makes my hair really soft. And I have dry hair, so I like kind of do a little extra on the tips. I just put it in my bowl. Still see my pink hair in there. For those who know me, I had like purple hair last year, so I had to cut quite a bit of my hair off. It got really dry from dyeing it, and with the health issues and stuff. So that's pretty much it for your hair oil. And then of course you wash it out. And I was thinking next week we can maybe try do-it-yourself shampoo bars, because they're environmentally friendly do-it-yourself project that's good for our hair, and we know what's going on in our body, and we know that we're nourishing our bodies, which makes us feel good, which makes us feel beautiful, and then in turn ripples out. Face masks. Face masks, there's so many of them, and here's a few varieties.
If you're looking for a quick pick-me-up that will leave you feeling and looking better, give yourself an oatmeal facial. Combine half a cup of hot, not boiling water, and a third cup of oatmeal. After the water and oatmeal have settled for 2 or 3 minutes, mix in 2 tablespoons of plain yogurt, 2 tablespoons of honey, and 1 small egg white. Apply a thin layer of mask to your face and let it sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Then rinse with warm water. Be sure to place a metal or plastic strainer in your sink to avoid clogging the drain with the granules. Get to know even more surprising health benefits of oatmeal. Mayonnaise face masks. Why waste money on expensive creams when you can treat yourself to a soothing, homemade facial mask with whole egg mayonnaise from your own refrigerator? Gently spread the mayonnaise over your face and leave it on for about 20 minutes. Then wipe it off and rinse with cool water. Your face will feel clean and smooth. How to make yogurt face masks. You don't have to go to a spa to give your face a quick assist. To clean your skin and tighten the pores, slather on some plain yogurt on your face and let it sit for about 20 minutes. For a revitalizing face mask, mix 1 teaspoon of plain yogurt with the juice from a quarter slice of an orange, some of the orange pulp, and 1 teaspoon of aloe. Leave the mixture on your face for at least 5 minutes before rinsing it off. Make a homemade face mask for mustard. Pat your face with some mild yellow mustard for bracing facial that will soothe and stimulate your skin. Be sure to use a mild mustard. Try it on a small area and test it to make sure that it doesn't irritate your skin. How to make an egg mask. For a little pampering, head to the refrigerator and grab an egg. If you have dry skin that needs moisturizing, separate the egg and beat the yolk. Oily skin takes the egg white, to which a bit of lemon or honey can be added. For normal skin, use the entire egg. Apply the beaten egg, relax, and wait 30 minutes, then rinse. You'll love your fresh new face. Thinking of your current beauty routine as a beauty ritual will enhance your life, and you can use the power of your affirmations as you're doing all these things. You can also use your bathroom counter vanity as an altar. It's a beauty altar. You can use it for affirmations by looking in the mirror, as well as putting on your makeup, taking baths, doing your facial routines, and even doing your makeup. You know, red has mystical history. So, in addition to these rituals, most beauty ingredients have been used since ancient times. And as you can see, I put up the example of olive oil, lavender, and lemon. Next, let's dive in and try one of these masks. I've decided to use the curry squash.
Got the oatmeal in there, gonna whisk her up. You can keep going till it's like really powdery, or you can leave it chunky, whatever feels right for you. Now, next add the curry squash. Now, the curry squash is very hard to cut, so I've used a big knife, but a little trick is use your meat tenderizer and just hit it on the edge. Tink, 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 tink. It will go through. Make sure you take off the edges. I'm putting in about 1/4 cup. And now honey. After you get your honey in there, you can whisk it up again. But keep note, if you have to, you can put a little bit of water in there as well, to the consistency that you like. So the face mask dries pretty fast. I put on some squash to do the cucumber thing. I'm fighting Suki right now. She wants to eat my face. So I hope you have a relaxing time with your face mask. For any extra face mask that's left over, you can store it in the freezer for up to 1 month. So you can take a little plastic container and put about what you used on your face. Some people like it thick and some people like it thin. And then you can just freeze it. Make sure you take it out well enough in time. You can also microwave it a little bit so it's warm, and it'll open up your skin pores a little bit nicer. Enjoy. Another quick healing beauty tip. Rice in hot water. Let soak for an hour. It'll get like a creamy white color, and you will have rice water, which is beautiful for your skin. I'm telling you, this stuff makes your skin so soft. It's the secret there, I swear.
I hope you're feeling beautiful inside and out. You're a natural beauty. Now let's do some recipes, and after that we'll look at the rag book.
Heat the oven to 400. In your bowl, place 1 cup of salt, sea salt, and 1 cup of pink Himalayan salt, 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1 tablespoon of Italian seasoning, and half a teaspoon of roasted garlic powder. also going to throw in my special little blend that I've made here. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons. After your second tablespoon is in, give it a light toss and mix it together. Try to get it mixed thoroughly and get those little lumps out. Adding tablespoons of water until you have a sand-like consistency. Just a little bit at a time. And give it a mix up until it's sand-like. A nice sand-like texture. It's about 2 tablespoons. 1/3 of the salt mixture on a parchment paper. Flatten it out the surface of the potatoes. Place in the baking sheet and begin to flatten out so it covers the bottom. Add your potatoes. And cover with the rest of the mixture. Make sure that you press the salt down nice and firmly between the potatoes, and then cover it, the parchment paper, and then take aluminum foil and cover that as well. If you're like me and you don't want to use aluminum foil, take the time to carefully flip over the parchment paper and make sure you have enough parchment paper to flip over, and then give it a good press down again. Make sure that salt and those potatoes are in there nice and tight. Then it goes into the 400-degree oven that's been preheated for 45 minutes to an hour, giving time for the steam and the water and the salt to rise through the potato and all those herbal flavors. Now with the leftover bowl, I like to make the lentils with the dandelion leaves. So we're going to start with 2 tablespoons of olive oil or coconut oil, chopped onion, 1 full chopped onion. This is where you can add 4 cloves of garlic. I use an infused olive oil with garlic, so my garlic's already in there. 1 tablespoon of parsley, a teaspoon of celery seed, 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon Italian seasoning, 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. Add these ingredients to a saucepan or a frying pan and warm up until the onions are soft. I added a little bit of squash for color and flavor. In a side bowl, you can measure out 2 cups of French lentils, or you can use something else. I'm using 5-grain tri-melody. Add 6 cups of water after everything is softened. This is where you add your lentils or your grains. I also added a 1/4 cup of red lentils and now a handful of kale, and then the rest I'm going to use in dehydrates. It calls for 1 bunch of greens. And I'll give her a stir. Make sure everything's got some juice and flavor on it. Cover up and let her simmer for about 15 minutes, which is about the time the potatoes will be done. Red lentil bread, 2 ingredients. 1 cup of red lentils, 2 cups of hot water, and let steep for 15 minutes. Almost forgot, 2 bay leaves. Now cover and simmer. Healing drink that tastes great. A couple of slices of lime, half pineapple juice, and the other half cranberry juice. Yummy. And now you can enjoy. Rinse out your lentils and your grains. Take the potatoes out and flip them onto a plate and let them sit for 10 minutes. once they've rested, you can open them up, crack off the salt. Ooh. Crack off the salt. And you get the potato though. You can disregard the salt, you can throw it out, or you can let it cool and add some other essential oils to it and add it to your bath so you don't have anything go to waste, because everything in here can heal and help detoxify your body as well. Let the lentils soak for 15 minutes. I'm going to put them in the blender. Blend, blend, blend. Start on low and work it up to high. If you're nervous about it not being soft enough, you can cook your lentils for a couple minutes before you put them in. So all the water goes in. Let the mix is nice and smooth and creamy. You really don't have to put it through the boiling process. I just know that some people will get finicky with their lentils. I find that if I boil them, they become too mushy. Get your frying pan nice and hot. Pour the mixture out and get it evenly along the pans. When your pan gets hot, you'll notice it starts cooking faster and faster. And what you're looking for is the bubbles on the top to look like a pancake consistency. You know, like that. But they'll get nice and nice, just like a pancake. Feel free to pop any air bubbles if they get too high. But as you can see, it's starting to get to that consistency. It's losing that shine. Don't feel bad just to let it go for a little bit longer. These don't tend to burn very easily. And even if they do, it gives it a nice flavor. Now, I'm going to admit, it takes a little bit getting used to with these lentils flatbreads. My first one, I made a big mess of. This is my second one. I made it smaller. And you gotta leave it. Like, I keep thinking I'm going to burn it. And this is on high heat. But they're very nice. They're like soft. As you can see, this is from my first one. But this is, as you can see, there's a nice firmness to it. And once that one side gets cooked and you flip it over, it goes quickly. I'll show you my stack at the end when they're all done. In memory of the first red lentil flatbread that didn't work out, it is going to the compost pile. Rest in peace. I got 7 flatbreads out of that. This is their consistency. They're really nice. And they're soft. Like, they're not like too brittle or hard. I mean, if you want to, if you like do them like a extra crispy, you can. But that takes a little extra while. Gives me my little burn hole. But yeah, and I ditched one, my very first one. So they're so tasty. I'm ready to go enjoy my dinner because I've already been picking at it. I put a smaller portion on, but can't wait. It's so delicious. I hope you enjoy this recipe and you enjoy it. It's paw potatoes with lentils, grains, and greens. Preheat the oven, 400 degrees. I'm using a curry squash instead of the kabocha squash. So this might have a different flavoring, but it's the only one that I had in my garden. Remove all the seeds and save these seeds. You can use some of these for replanting, or you can bake them in the oven with some olive oil and salt, just like pumpkin seeds, and they're very good for you. The seeds are nice and chunky. The recipe calls for 2 to 3 pounds. It also says to half the squash horizontally and scoop out the discards of the seeds and rub onto the sides of the oil on the squash, and then place that side down on the parchment baking sheet. What I've done is I've already taken the skin off because I'm going to add the oil directly to the curry squash and mix it in. I've saved the skin on the side because I'm going to cook it separately and feed it to my animals, especially my dog. Now that it's covered in coconut oil, it's going to go into the oven for 30 to 40 minutes until it's tender. That's when you can easily be able to pierce the squash with a fork. In the side dish that I held the squash in, I'm going to get the other ingredients ready for when it's done. And then what you do is you take these ingredients and with the cool down squash, you blend it together. So first I have in here is, it calls for 1.5 cups of full fat coconut milk, 1/2 cup of maple syrup, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, a 1/4 cup of agar-agar flakes, but for a substitute, I'm using oatmeal, 1 teaspoon of Himalayan salt. It doesn't say anything about the toasted coconut flakes, so I'm going to put a pinch in and save some for after, and now I'm going to whisk this together. So this, with the cooled off squash, gets blended together. And then it says you transfer it to a saucepan and you place it over medium-high heat and bring it to a boil, stirring often so the bottom doesn't burn and quickly reduce to a simmer. Continue enough to coat the back of the spoon and then remove and refrigerate for at least 4 hours before serving. So I'll get back to you after the squash is finished cooling and we're blending. Alright, they're out of the oven. And it smells so good together. I'm not gonna lie. It might not look great, but it smells great. I kind of burnt them a little bit, but you know what? I think it's gonna add to the flavor personally. So they're nice and tender. I threw them in here because like the coconut milk was kind of chunky, and I was like, this one will help melt it down, and it did. And it's helping the squash cool up a little bit quicker. You see, the squash is very tender now compared to me going hugga 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 earlier. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm also going to strain it through before I put it through into the saucepan, but we'll find out. As you can see, the consistency is like really nice. It actually looks like pudding-like. It's kind of neat. So mine's in the saucepan here. Okay, and like I said, it's pretty thick already. So the lumps are probably, I know what the lumps are. The lumps are the oatmeal and the coconut. And the little black dots are my little burnt things. My bad. So I have this to warm up. As you can see, like I can go like this. And like you can see the bottom for a few seconds. So it's still pretty thick. I gave a little taste test. It tastes very nice. Like it tastes very nice. I'm like really impressed with some of these recipes. I thought like they should have named it like, I can't believe it's not pumpkin. It's pretty thick there, so it's not quite the consistency of pudding yet because it's not as thick, but it's pretty close. So my alarm went off there when I was recording, so I'm gonna do what they said, and I'm just gonna warm this up for like 10 minutes and get it going, and then I gotta keep stirring so it doesn't burn, and then wait till it gets to the consistency. So next time you see me, it'll be done. Like in 3 seconds. 1, 2. This was pretty much the consistency I wanted, and I decided like, no, I want to strain. I don't like the little lumps. So this is what I do. It won't get all the lumps quite out, and then I use my pedal for my mortar and pedestal, and I get it through. As you can see, I got actually quite a bit of lump left over, and underneath is the smooth stuff. Oh yeah, that's way nicer. And look, it's like already getting thicker. It's awesome. Okay, I haven't said 3 yet. the finished product. Now it goes in the fridge and cools for a few hours. When it's all said and done, it's freaking delicious. After it sits though in the fridge for a while, I noticed it kind of got like this weird little coat. So I was gonna say, don't let it sit for too long. Once you get that consistency, it's great to eat just this way. It really is so good. Truthfully, it tastes better than pumpkin. I find it tastes like a caramel. Like, it's that sweet. It is like, I try to believe the stuff in here is actually good for you. This looks so good. I hope you enjoy it too. Sorry about a mouthful. Fold your white paper in half and fold your brown paper separately in half because it's a little bit bigger. Then put needle holes through the binding of the paper. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can go as high as you want to the top. This is going to be the binding of the book. We will attach this after. Once you got your papers together and you got all the holes in there, you can begin sewing. Put the knot in the back and follow your holes through, all the way through. Go up and down a few times. Back through, making sure it's tight. You go down and back up. Now, once you get this all sewed up, leave a line hanging out in the back of your book. Back of your book. Line up your brown paper with your big needle. Poke the holes through to match up. And then again, sew through to combine both of them. Now that it's sewed, it doesn't have to be like pretty or anything like that. In the middle, try to make it a little bit more so because, you know, it's the middle of the book. With this part, this is where you can go wherever you want to do. You can trim this down a little bit, or you can fold it over and sew it onto the main thing along with the fabric, but I must warn you, it gets difficult that way. I'm going to trim it along to match my paper, and then I'm going to add my fabric. When I add my fabric, I'm going to do the same thing. Sew along. Just sew along right inside. Just sew along. You can put one on the back, put one on the front. You can do it together. You can do it on a sewing machine. If you have thick enough paper, if you have very thin paper, I don't recommend it. I'm trying to get thick paper to do this. Sketch paper is really good for this. That's what I like to use. When it's all said and done, it looks similar to this. It'll be just a fabric book. Open it up. I attached a bookmark in this one. I did make a video when I was making this one, but unfortunately, it somehow only caught audio. So I was just quickly putting together another one. So I'm going to quickly sew that up. This was done with the sewing machine. As you can see, there were errors. It was bunching up. But this is good because then I can show where my errors were. I've sewn littler ones. This is the biggest one I've ever made. As you can see, it's about the size of my head. On this side, I hand sewed it, which is the way I'm used to doing it. My little ones, I will use the sewing machine because they're so delicate. Hand sewing comes sometimes is hard. But if you have those little intricates and being able to do that, that's great for you. But yeah, I just did a straight stitch and an X straight, just made a pattern. And the inside, just kind of a mess. I really like the fabric ones because you have pockets. If you do use a pocket, make sure you stabilize this a bit more. You see, the book is all sewed in, and it holds up pretty good. Very flexible book. If you don't want to use the brown paper bag, you can just use one of the white pieces of paper. Just add the extra piece of paper for your front and back, just like that. You can even do that. You can even sew along the edges. So that's the way it is. Be careful when you sew this page because it will rip.
You could just leave it like this. I cut mine down. You could just leave it like this and decorate it whatever way you want. Put something in the back. If you want a thicker book, make several of these white ones and stack them together. And then the bindings, you sew them together with niches of the paper. There's a ton of YouTube videos about these things. I'll show the finished product. Sewing the rag book. Cut here and then cut down here. You can use a thimble if you want. And continue sewing along the edge. You can use straight pins to hold the fabric down. There. I'm not going to put the inside cover on. I like it just the way it is. I actually like it looking like that. And I think I'm going to make this my new moon book. If you want to add a bookmark in it, take a piece, measure it out. You can design it. This is just a scrap piece. Sew it up here. To put the other piece on the other side, take the piece of fabric, measure it out so it is the same size, and you can go around the edges to sew it and give it a framework, or you can just tuck it in between here and sew it in between those lines there. And like the other book I was showing you, you can have pockets. My daughter made a book as well. This is hers. She made a bigger book. She didn't want to do the inside either. I think she did a great job on it. This is the brown book I showed earlier. The pockets. I have my other little one that I have going right now. It's upstairs. So, just one of the many ways you can make a new moon book. Or a little gift for Christmas, since Christmas is coming up, or a birthday, or just yourself. Want to write poems or journal, dream journal, there you go. I like them. I think that they look so rustic and cool.
Hope you enjoy.
The reason why I started High Vibe Beauty is I wasn't feeling very confident or good about myself. And the truth is, I don't think I ever did in my lifetime. I've spent a lifetime just kind of feeling okay, and I really wanted to start feeling really good inside. My health was deteriorating and my life was like going somewhere, but I was suffering the consequences and I wasn't feeling so great. My body was suffering and my looks. And the truth of the matter is I know that when we feel beautiful as women, we seem to be unstoppable. And that's something I wanted to start giving to other women because I knew I wasn't the only one out there. I hope you enjoyed today's journey. Next week, I'm not sure what we're getting into because there's a lot on my list. I've gotten a few emails, so next week's a complete surprise. I am going to do a follow-up video about the new moon. I have been asked to do some of these videos separately, so that way they can follow through on a separate video. So afterwards, please note that I'm going to be putting some of these videos separately. So the rag book will be separate, the facial stuff will be separate. That way you guys can just watch that, just like it's been asked. You take care now. I hope you're feeling beautiful inside and out. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe.